Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of Barcast Daily. It is currently June 2nd, 2023. We've got another high level replay for y'all and on a bit of a different map, so let's go ahead and get into the game. This is Paradise Lost. So, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen it before, it's pretty solid 1v1 map, and it's going to be featured a lot here in the upcoming weeks. We have Farman leagues coming out. For those of you who are not aware, it's just a new 1v1 league that's starting up with, I believe, 8 different groups, so a lot of different skill level players. And this is Raghna's home map, so if you're watching a Raghna game in the upcoming tournament, chances are you'll be seeing it on this very map. So hopefully y'all enjoy these ocean games or something a little bit different than comet catchers. I know I'm well aware of the amount of those games I post on this channel. It's just so hard not to find a game on comet catcher that doesn't have 2 pros. So that's where we end up with. But just want to say thanks to everyone who's been commenting on the channel, liking the videos, subscribing, and just got some information back from that most recent poll I released about what you want to see more of on the channel, whether it's like best of threes, map specific build orders. What are the ones that I post on there? Anyways, like longer T2 games, right? So I see the feedback y'all are giving me, and I want to say there wasn't a all of the above option, because it seemed like the distribution between the options was fairly equal. So maybe I'll be just have a little bit of everything, bringing it to you. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like that, and I'll be sure to bring it to you. This game seems a little bit well underway, so let's take a look at the open so far and introduce the players. So spawning in the bottom left hand corner, playing as the red pieces, it's Raghna. He's going vehicle plant open on a ocean map. That's interesting. And his opponent on the right side of the map, playing as a blue pieces, it's PtaQ. So, and he's going for the shipyard. So, and excuse me while I kind of get used to casting these style games. I don't have the most experience when it comes to these water units. I mean, of course, I've played a decent enough subcom, so I kind of understand perhaps the matchup in and of itself. But a lot of these unit names or interactions I might not be so privy to, so let's kind of learn this matchup together, shall we? Doubt many of you 1v1 players out there have much experience with these ocean games on a map like this, so be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section if you want to see more games on this map in particular. So be happy to bring it to you. Looks like okay, so we see why Raghna chose to go for this vehicle plant. He's opening up with 2 of these muskrats, these amphibious construction vehicles. So he's just going to be capping these mexes here with the first one, and we see if he has any build orders issued with the second. Yeah, moving more towards the center of the map to try and cap these mexes. So pretty interesting open. We see PtaQ's already open with this patrol boat, which has a sonar and one of these submarines. So we'll see how much damage he's able to get with those early units. Is still just assisting his factory, and has produced one of these amphibious, or rather naval construction ships, and is just going to be going through capping these 4 mexes. And then it looks like adding on a lot of tidal power generation there in that little bay. So both players well underway with their opening build orders. We see pretty even here, 1.7k metal produced by both players. So looks like Raghna opened with 3 of these amphibious construction vehicles. He made an additional land-based construction vehicle here. He's adding on a construction turret, and then should be getting into the water here shortly, I'd imagine. You have to make those naval units at some point on this map. So take a look at these player views. PtaQ is spotting this little amphibious construction vehicle, so I'm sure he's privy to the fact there could be more in the water somewhere else. I wonder if the submarine can actually take out that submersible unit. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see. Turn off this player view for now. We can take a look at PtaQ's side of the map. He has an additional construction vehicle out here, so we went to this northern bay, capping these mexes, adding on additional tidal power, so really emphasizing that. Energy production for now. Our commander has moved outside of the water, so just going through capping these mexes on this main island. Should be moving back into the water after that to at least assist that naval factory, I'm sure. That's what we'll see. It looks like this construction vehicle ended up going down along with the mechs, so this already paying for itself, I'm sure. at least with the kind of timing of that. I mean, that construction vehicle would have gone through and added on even more and more of these mexes, so definitely kind of cutting off one of those expanding engineers is huge this early into the game. Looks like Raghna was able to get the shipyard up and is going to be making some submarines or orcas of his own, so definitely need those to counter what your opponent's making. We see the submarine moving to this left bay. Should end up catching those two mexes there. I doubt he's going to get that extra construction vehicle for now. Looks like this this skater is gonna tickle this construction vehicle. Good thing those have such high health. Interesting mechanic. So let's take a look at where this game is at. We see Raghna's a little bit up on metal produce, but I want to say PtaQ has got maybe more of the map. These naval construction ships are doing a good job capping these mexes in the water and adding on some, energy for him. See a little bit of a sub battle here in the middle of the map, and is PtaQ gonna get the killing blow? Yeah, so takes out the enemy sub with his, arm sub. And I guess Raghna's playing core, so if I'm not mistaken, there's a bit of a difference between these Cortex and Armada subs. I forget which one is actually slightly better than the other, but from what I understand, one of those subs is just a little tankier than the other one. Takes 2 shots instead of 3. So that's cheeky. This construction vehicle gets submerged and stops taking damage from these what are these corvettes? Yeah, fast assault corvette. Cool. So this game is kind of stabilizing a little bit. Both players perfectly content, just expanding across the map. We see PtaQ is continuing to add on sonar, capping mexes, adding on tidal generators. Looks like he moved his commander to this north island here and is going to be adding on an air factory. So second factory is going to be air. We'll see how much damage he's able to get done with that. I'm sure on such a large map with so many spread out mexes, gunships or bombers perhaps would be an interesting choice. So PtaQ is moving in for an attack here. We see he's got 5 of these corvettes moving towards his opponent's navy. I'm assuming that's where he thinks his opponent's naval factory is. And he'd be correct in that assumption, but we see 2 subs in tow. I wonder if PtaQ can see those shooting. I'm sure he can hear them. Yeah, so losing one of their ships already. Is he just going to try and target these construction turrets? Looks like one is going to go down, perhaps? No, good job pulling back, and I guess all these ships are going to end up going down. See, 4 of the 5 are already destroyed. 2 of them are very low. Are they going to get out? It says 0% health. Oh my gosh. Ends up going down, so really nice job there. And perhaps the difference between these subs is, do these missiles actually track? Not too sure. But these subs are definitely getting a lot of value here. We see they're already up to about 4 kills between the 5 kills. Pretty interesting little naval battle there. I'm sure that's not going to be the last engagement we see. Let's take a look at the statistics again. PtaQ sitting up about 1.1k mass. So we can see the fruits of his open here. He's already has almost half the map. He's got these 2 separate islands. Not quite all the mexes capped, but good enough. A lot more naval presence, I'd say. And is even constructing a forward radar here. So that's going to give him a lot of information about his opponent's movements. We can take a look at these player views for now. See PtaQ trying to get up this forward torpedo launcher, but that goes down along with his radar, I'm sure. Those are not cheap, if I'm not mistaken. Construction vehicle, or construction ship rather, ends up going down. And PtaQ loses his radar signatures here in the middle, so he's going to have to retreat. I'm sure he doesn't really know the extent of the opponent's forces in that area. Meanwhile, his Raghna, playing as these red pieces, is still trying to capture half of these mexes. We see he's got both islands controlled. A lot of these water mexes already secured, and is adding on naval build power here. So what is he putting up with this construction ship? Looks like he just has a reclaim order issued here. I'm sure he's trying to get that little bit of mass from that earlier engagement, and is continuing to make subs and then a lot of these light gunboats. So we'll see how that unit composition does for him. Meanwhile, these subs are going uncontested on PtaQ's side of the map, and we have a lot of these supporters in tow here. And that's forcing PtaQ to kind of retreat with his army. That's going to give Raghna an opportunity to move his armada or fleet where he wants it. Looks like he's moving towards the center of the map here. We'll take a look and see how he chooses to kind of engage with his opponent's economy. A little bit of a torp launcher here in the middle of the map. Takes out one of those support ships. Literally called the supporter. It's a creative name. And Raghna thinks better of it. Pulls back. Doesn't want to take the fight there, but is happy enough to move these submarines into position. We can see already up to 11 kills between the three of them, and they're not done getting damage, so PtaQ needs some response. I believe it's the destroyer or your own subs to kind of get these back on the field. We see he's producing one right now to this naval factory, but is short on build power here at the moment. Did one of those subs go down? I'm not sure how that sub went down. Perhaps a little bit of friendly fire. And Raghna's moving his opponent's navy out of the way, and that's going to give these supporters an opportunity to dive on this part of the map here. They're going to get all this tidal power. They're going to get the shipyard at least. So great little trade there. Just these light gunships are able to do a lot of work. No other interactions going on the other side of the map, but PtaQ's decided it's time to reveal these gunships. So he has a couple already making their way onto Raghna's side of the map. We see two have arrived at this top island. Gonna start taking out this muskrat perhaps. But meanwhile on PtaQ's side of the map, this navy is not done getting damage. See these ships, these submarines are doing so much work. This Orca is up to 11 kills on itself, so great job. And Raghna is trying to secure this kind of bottom mid. He's adding on a floating anti-air tower. He's secured this position with these offshore torpedo launchers. Adding on more anti-air. He's got this sonar really well placed, so really locking down this middle part of the board. And Raghna's still not done getting damage on PtaQ's side of the map. We see this one torpedo launcher is not enough to take out these naval units. And he's going to end up losing more eco here in the middle bay. So these subs still going unanswered. We see 4 on the map here on PtaQ's side of the map. Meanwhile, these gunships have cleared out this top left island, so a lot of damage done. You can see they're making their way to Raghna's main base. Are they going to get this little bit of eco here? Shaves off the one last metal extractor, perhaps, before running into these anti-airships of Raghna. What are these called? The herrings? Missile corvettes. So let's take a look and see where this game is at. See PtaQ and Raghna. PtaQ has still a little bit of a metal advantage right now, but I want to say the map control might be going to Raghna. Just he has these navy pretty much locked down. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 subs that are going uncontested at the moment. And PtaQ is still continuing to make these corvettes here. He's got a couple of submarines finally made their way out into the map, and this should be looking to kind of reclaim this area. I'm sure there's tons of mass sitting here. Yeah, 1,500 mass, almost 2K mass on that starting island. So really just for anyone's grabbing there. A lot of mass, a lot of reclaim. Raghna has this muskrat available on the top left, so he should be remaking those mexes. He's got another Orca moving to that little bay. Gonna defend against any run-bys, and we still have these subs getting damaged. They're up to 47 kills between the two. That is insane value. Pretty much single-handedly winning the game. Look at these absolute units. 49 kills, that's insane. We have 3 subs that have perhaps cornered these units. We'll take a look and see if they're able to trade efficiently. It might be difficult going up against these subs with veterancy. See, 3v1, kind of splitting the shots here. 2 versus 2. We have this one last sub alive. Is he going to end up getting the trade? No, it goes down. So, great job, PtaQ, finally clearing out those 2 subs in your bay. And we have a little bit of a gunship battle here in the middle. PtaQ moving his gunships to Raghna's position here in the center, but there was already anti-air turrets set up, so he's trying to roll in with his navy at the same time. Losing a couple ships. Raghna's kind of kiting back here, and these torpedo launchers hold the line here. So low on health, but chews away that little engagement here. That was a nice little defensive play there by Raghna. PtaQ just trying to buy time, I'm sure, to kind of resecure this bottom right. Needs some extra build power down there. But he's focusing on getting out these corvettes still, thinking he has to control this navy. He's not wrong. See a bit of a Bit of a little naval installation here. We see several torp launchers, one of these radars. Take a look at our player views for now. PtaQ. Looking to defend this mid part. We see Raghna's finally moved up with these missile ships. They do so little damage, it looks like, but they outrange these torpedo launchers, it appears. So great way to clear through your opponent's side of the map slowly but surely. See, meanwhile, in the middle right, some more of these hovercrafts are targeting this torpedo launcher, which is defenseless against the units floating on the water. So great little interaction there. Torpedo launchers cannot hit hovercraft. Learn something new every day. And yeah, Raghna's produced a naval hovercraft platform here in the bottom mid and is assisting that with his commander. So it's going to be transitioning into these hovercraft. I wonder how well these gunships are going to be at defending PtaQ side of the map against these really mobile units. I mean, they have fast movement speed, can traverse across this water uninhibited. So great little option here on these naval maps. Meanwhile, in top mid, these herrings are continuing to get damage done. So clearing out these static defense here of PtaQ. And that's going to give Raghna a chance to expand to that top mid. You can see on the right-hand side of the map, these gunships are doing a great job of clearing out these hovercrafts. So they don't really even end up making it to PtaQ side of the map. They might actually end up getting some economic damage here. We see two of these slip through, finally end up going down. So great job, PtaQ, defending that bottom right side of the map. Meanwhile, Raghna's issued a fight order here. So great way to kind of use the max range of this unit to its advantage. Using that fight command. Just backing up a little bit. Trying to consolidate his forces. Looking, I'm sure, to trying to protect these construction ships. Continuing to expand. Raghna's almost completely locked down his half of the map. So PtaQ just with this one lone bomber in the top left corner trying to get these mexes. Excuse me, I'll take a sip of coffee. So, meanwhile, in the bottom right-hand side of the map, looks like Raghna was able to sneak in some of these hovercraft again. He went ahead and brought some anti-air ones with him. So these units going to be clearing out some of this eco of PtaQ here on this bottom right-hand map. And he has a PtaQ rather has a construction aircraft kind of issuing a recycle order here. Excuse me, reclaiming all this mass here in his previous naval factory. But meanwhile, these hovercraft are making their way to the middle right side of the map, and there's a lot of eco here. Undefended construction turrets are going to end up going down to these fast-moving hovercraft here. So they don't do too much damage, but this is completely undefended here. So that's going to force PtaQ to move his commander down to defend this area, but not before losing a lot of his wind turbines here. Meanwhile, a little bit of a naval push here on the top side of the map. These missile ships are continuing to roll in, and now they're supported by some heavier ships, though. So we got one submarine here in the mix. PtaQ is grouping up his navy here, so he's going to be looking for a fight, and he has a superior navy in a sense. I mean, he's got 13 of these corvettes. And what was this other unit? I think that's the sonar unit. Yeah, frigates and corvettes. So yeah, here we go. A little bit of a naval battle. Finally here in the center of the map, PtaQ rolling through. And he makes short work of this army. I mean, he still can't target the submarine in the underneath the water here. So even though he's cleaned up all the ships on the surface of the water, he has yet to find a way to deal with those submarines. And there's a huge reclaim field there in the middle of the water. Meanwhile, we have a construction torpedo launcher getting destroyed by this Orca sub. Yeah, so subs can outrange these torpedo launchers by a very small margin. There's a huge reclaim field here in the middle of the water. Let's take a look. Almost 2,000 mass sitting right there after that previous battle. And let's take a look and see where this game is at. I want to say this red player has an advantage. He's still below on metal produced, but I mean, we can take a look at the map, and Raghna certainly has a map control here. We see another naval battle taking shape. These hovercraft retreating away from this army here. They can't really fight these naval units in a straight up engagement. So using the superior mobility of those hovercraft, Raghna's able to kind of retreat. I'm sure he's going to find a way to rotate around this navy here. And PtaQ's looking for a fight, so he's moving a lot of these forces down to the center part of the map, but Raghna already has some of these destroyers out. So they're using their superior range to kind of target down these corvettes, and we have a proper naval battle coming up here. I think PtaQ's going to go in, yeah. He's pulling the trigger, rolling forward with his units. And these, once again, these torpedo launchers are doing a lot of damage. We'll have to see how much damage PtaQ's able to get here. Continuing to press forward, takes out that hovercraft factory, but these destroyers are still left on the battlefield here and have some decent health. Is one going to end up going down? It's so low, 2% health. Yeah, ends up going down, but there's still 2 destroyers left against 4 of these corvettes. So great hold there, Raghna, and there's a huge reclaim field. I mean, let's take a look. Almost 3,000 mass sitting here in the bottom middle part of the map. And PtaQ has donated a lot of his navy here, so just has a few of these corvettes, a few of these dolphins left in the water here. He's trying to make use of this reclaim field. He's got 1 construction vehicle here in the center, trying to reclaim some of the map, and hasn't retaken this bottom right here. We see Raghna slipping through. There's a construction hovercraft adding on some of those mexes there. And PtaQ is just happy to, or excuse me, Raghna is just happy to reclaim all these units that went down here in the middle part of the map, and has a huge navy. What is this? 8 destroyers, 2 submarines, 2 oppressors, and finally Raghna has a huge advantage here in the water. Oh, excuse me, these are frigates. These are the destroyers, the oppressors, so they can actually target enemy subs with their depth charges. I'm not really sure how effective that attack is against the submarines, but they can at least defend themselves against these submarines. And we see PtaQ trying to kind of, use these gunships, last desperate line of defense here, but these assault frigates can actually target these air units, so a little bit unforgiving. The game does not like you making air units, it seems. So many units can target them that you wouldn't really expect. And this game is kind of coming to a close. We see Raghna's, excuse me, tying the noose, so to speak. He's got more than half the map locked down. He's got a huge navy. All he has to do is just move on top of his opponent's production here. And that's what he's going for. We see he's got a move command towards his opponent's main base, so to speak. And PtaQ needs to get into position. He's got 2 destroyers out of his own, but he's worried about the submarine on the right bay here. And that's going to give this navy here of Raghna a chance to move completely undefended towards this main base here. Take a look at this. Looks like Raghna's gone ahead and made his own air factory here. So he's got a scout out, taking a look at this layout of this main base. We'll go to his player view for now. Take a look at this. Sees the layout of this main base here and should be looking to close this game out here in a minute. He's grouping up his army. He's got 5 subs here leading the charge and is finally going in for this final attack, I'm sure. Got a lot of naval units here. Even have hovercraft being brought up on the top side of the map. These hovercraft from before making the way to the extreme top side of the map here, and we'll be looking for damage, but Raghna's content to just sit here and shell away at this naval outpost here, and is finally rolling in, getting on top of this production here, and PtaQ calls GG. So great job, Raghna. Great job, PtaQ. Really good game. I want to see more games on this map. That was pretty interesting. We saw everything. I mean, it's an epic scale RTS, so we saw the land, sea, and air available to us, even the hovercraft. So hope you all enjoy these naval maps. I sure like casting it, so hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next replay. Thanks for watching.